I'll start with you, Beth, that stand out for you, and are you confident about the 25-26 season?
I mean, I'm a United fan, so am I confident? Not really, to be honest, after what's happened last season. I mean, I'm looking at our fixtures. I mean, the one that obviously stands out is the Gyökeres derby, first game of the season. Which team's going to have Gyökeres, Arsenal or United? We've got it at home, which is going to be a boost for us, but still our home record last season under Ruben Amorim was super poor. Then if you're trying to give this manager a chance, you've got Man City, Chelsea and Arsenal all in the first 5. So it's looking difficult for us. But then again, if we start off well, could give us good momentum. So not confident, but trying to be optimistic.
Yeah, it's almost as if it's been done on purpose. I mean, that is a very tough start. Do you think Amorim will be under pressure from the get-go? Will we be seeing him still at Man United after November?
I don't know. I've had so many people message me this morning at 9 a.m. when the fixtures come out saying he might be gone by Christmas. Get your bets on now. So I'm not sure. Like when you look at the fixtures that we've got, I look at that Liverpool one as well in October, and I think that could be Anfield away. That could be a really difficult one when you get into that point of the season where if a manager's not doing very well, especially at a club like Manchester United, there are going to be questions asked. I think because he didn't win the Europa League, then the whole focus is going to be on the Premier League. There's going to be no European games to distract. There's going to be no European competition where you think, well, if Man United do well in this, they could end up in a European competition again next year. It is solely focused on the Premier League. So there's going to be so much scrutiny every single game. And like I said, if he starts off poorly, that's going to increase that speculation around his job. So I think he could be in trouble. But then again, you can look at it from the opposite side and say, well, if you do start off well and you beat the likes of the Chelsea, the City, the Arsenal, then you're going to have that momentum going into the season and it can build the team confidence. So, and you can say you've only got the Premier League to focus on. So it could go either way. But if I'm Ruben Amorim this morning waking up looking at that, I'm looking at it and thinking they do not make it easy for me. And I'd be saying to the Manchester United board, you need to get my signings in ASAP. It's so crucial that Manchester United have their transfer business done come that first game of the season.
Right, so I'm going to ask everyone else, will Ruben Amorim run out of time, especially with this start? I'll start with you, Kendall.
Yeah, I mean, last season was obviously very difficult, but it's always difficult from a manager, especially coming from, another country, another league. But yeah, he had I think it was one of the worst kind of ratios in terms of points and wins that he'd had. So obviously there's going to be scrutiny. Again, as Beth said, he didn't win the Europa League. That was pretty much everything was riding on that at that point, considering the season that they'd had. So yeah, it's going to be difficult. But there was a few signs towards the back end of the season. I don't know if Beth will agree, but there was a couple of signs where, it was becoming a little bit more harmonious. So we'll see what signings are getting. But I think he is in for a very, very, very difficult season ahead because so many other teams are strengthening as well. So yeah, it's going to be a difficult ride for him, I think.
I'm going to go to Blue Lions TV. What do we think?
I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I actually think he'll do okay. I think there's a few parallels between his start when he first took over at Sporting Lisbon and at Man United. That Lisbon team he took over, they were disjointed. They didn't really have like a tactical identity. He did turn towards using youth. There was a lot of skepticism around his appointment. Lisbon slapped on a 10 mil release clause straight away on him. And immediately everyone's getting a bit confused behind that decision. But in the end, he was able to showcase why he was a world-class manager, I have to say. And I think United are slowly maybe buying a few players that suit his ideas now. Dorgu, securing Cunha. If they can maybe invest in the midfield, which is probably the most important area that hasn't been addressed now for how many years, I do think that United will be a bit better. And I actually think as well, them losing the Europa League final was probably the best thing for United for where they are right now, because it just kills off any false hopes of unrealistic expectations. It's like, you know what? We can see the club for what they are right now. The struggles, where we have to improve, how we need to get better in certain areas. And now you can just focus solely on those improvements at like a granular level and build up. And I think that's probably the best position now for Amorim to be in right now to improve Man United. So yeah, I think he'll do okay. You're not going to win any leagues, but you're going to improve upon what you did last season.
And lastly, Chris, what do you reckon? Amorim?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like he is going to improve Manchester United, but I feel like they do need a little bit of time and patience because he did walk into a bit of a mess there. So obviously it's going to take time to sort that out. Perhaps because they're not in Europe this coming season, perhaps that will help their league position and help him to, progress them. But how many managers can they keep going through? And I feel like in recent years, they've spent a lot of money and the recruitment has been really poor.